What is up, everybody? My name is Justin. I got the core four with me today. We're going to be talking about why everything is too expensive for you and for everybody that you know. Core four, what's going on, you guys?
Hey, buddy.
What's up, my man?
We're going to be
Uh,
shedding some light and some wisdom on some financial things. Cody's at the beach. That's just a symbol of financial security and freedom and all the other stuff that comes with it. You know what I mean? So anyway, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things in today's video. Cody, you want to lead us off with a little scripture, though?
We can do that. Yeah. Go ahead and open your Bibles to 1 Timothy chapter number 6 and verse 10. One of my favorite verses, one of the most misinterpreted, misquoted verses. So you guys can probably quote this. Once I start giving you some words, you'll be able to finish it. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and perceived themselves pierce themselves through with many sorrows. I can't see his sunglasses; they're polarized. So, the way you normally hear that verse quoted is just the first half of the verse, and then you hear that quoted incorrectly. People will say, "Money is the root of all evil." Have you guys ever heard somebody say that before, where they just say, "Money is the root of all evil"?
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's not what the verse says, right? It says, "For the love of money is the root of all evil." So if we're going to cut the verse in half and understand that Bible verses God didn't give scripture with numbers and chapters and verses. We put that in there. So it's okay to cut it in half kind of in the middle of the sentence because it is a completion of a thought. For the love of money is the root of all evil. There's a colon there. Let's just look at that front half of the verse because that's what most people want to talk about. What's the key word in that sentence? For the love of money is the root of all evil. What do you guys think the key word in that sentence would be?
Love.
Evil.
Okay, you got to vote for love.
I say evil.
Got to
I
vote
would
for evil.
I would say all.
Aaron is going to be correct with the word all. So they're important words to understand. Money is an important word. Love is an important word. Evil in there is an important word. Definitely got to know what those mean. But the pivotal word in that statement is all. Now, all can have two different meanings. All can mean every single solitary, or it can mean all manner, all types. So what the verse is telling you there is the love of money, the fact that a person or a company or entity or whatever it is can fall in love with money. If that happens, they are now capable of all manner, all types of evil. So it doesn't mean that every sin is a derivative of loving money. That's obviously can't be true. Obviously can't be true. There's crimes of passion. There's even the garden, the original sin, Adam and Eve taken of the. If your brain just said apple, that means you don't know scripture. That's Snow White and the Seven Damned Dwarfs. It was a fruit and probably a pomegranate, and we could go into why I think that's true. But the devil didn't pay him to eat. He didn't pay him. So he didn't say, "Hey, I give you $20 to eat this fruit." It was not money motivated. There's obviously other motivations. So when you read scripture, when you hear somebody quote that verse, normally it's broke people that quote that verse. I don't ever really find successful people quoting that. And why do they like to quote that verse? Because it's a justification as to why they're broke. They're trying to reach out into ether and pull religion in and say, well, I don't want no money no way. That's not true. That's the thing that you spend the most time trying to get, and it's the thing that runs your life. So let's just be honest about what's going on. Should you fall in love with money? No, because if you do, you'll do all kinds of evil. You'll sell drugs to kids. Like you'll do all kind of crazy stuff. So understand the verse, understand what it's trying to say, and loving money is bad, but money itself is not bad. I don't love money. I love what money can do. I've got the kids that Mike and Preston are down there at the beach, and Micah and Preston are both wearing Swiss watches like some weird little 16-year-olds, and they shouldn't be doing that, right? It's not normal for a 16-year-old to have a decent Omega on, but they do because I don't care about the money. I care about the lesson I'm teaching them is that, dang, this ain't nothing but a stupid watch I could throw in the ocean. It wouldn't affect my life. Why? Because Dad's worked really hard to get us to this point. And if I hand it off to them one day and they drop the ball, they're going to know that they had a ball to drop. That's the point of the money. So love of money, not just money being the root of all evil.
So that kind of is going to, segue us into basically the conversation of today's video. You guys know that we like to get philosophical. We like to get psychological on these calls, and we like to talk about the psychology of money and how we were kind of brought up. Now, Aaron says this all the time. If you're brought up like us, you got that like Baptist guilt with regards to money. I think it's important for us to have a moment of like self-reflection and take note of the sayings that we've heard our entire lives. Things like money doesn't grow on trees. Money's the root of all evil. You have to work hard for the money that you make. I think that's the root of really all the problems with regards to why everything is too expensive, because you've been conditioned into too expensive. Anybody want to segue on that? Because I think
Yeah,
that's like,
I think that you are exactly right with the equation that small town where I'm from. That's all I know. So it could be city, I don't know, but where I'm from, small town, country folks, the equation they run is the harder that you break your back, the more money you will make. And the only thing they understand at the top of the pinnacle of break your back is probably roughnecking. They would say now, or underwater welding. That would be one. What's another trade? Bering Sea crab fishing, where you go for like 6 months and you make like $250,000 and then you come back. Like that's the pinnacle, but that's the ultimate danger, the ultimate back-breaking work, all day, long nights, right? That's what they believe. So they have a spectrum of actually what they believe they should charge based on ease of doing the job, not based on the value they provide, right? Or the perceived value to the customer. So that's the big blockade for a lot of these people as far as making more money, is because they feel the guilt in them to charge more, because they're like, well, it's only a gutter cleaning. I was like, yeah, it's only a gutter cleaning, but do you know how many accidents happen from ladders per year? Do you know why this customer is even getting you to clean their gutters in the first place? Because they don't want to fall off a ladder and break their back. You're risking your life being on a ladder, cleaning these gutters, and therefore you should charge more because of the risk factor, not because you just think it's just gutter cleaning. And so I think, Justin, that is the huge blockade to making more money. With the money doesn't grow on trees, all of this stuff, is that if I'm absolutely not doing something that is crushing work and somewhat highly skilled or immensely dangerous, underwater welding, for God's sake, right? I got to go to school and get that certification to go underwater, and they'll put you in the tank. And then you go down there and you learn how to weld. You'll make $250,000-300,000 a year on them oil rigs. Yeah. And you might just die. Right. And they're like, well, that's the pinnacle. So they don't believe that you can make millions of dollars. They don't believe that. And that's their big thing, is like, money doesn't grow on trees, but if you're willing to just break your back, you could get to 60, 80,000, 100,000 a year. And the formula is not work harder. The formula is set up systems that allow these things to move and bring money to you with ease.
Oh, love it. Anybody else? Mike, you want to weigh in a little bit on the way people kind of think about money?
I think it's a strange thing, right? When you don't have money, you hate people with money. Yeah. When you do have money, you have a completely different perspective on things, and it doesn't make life easier, right? You still have to work unbelievably hard to achieve the level of success where you have got a little bit of, financial security, where you're not worried about, when you're going to get paid, when that next check is coming in, if it's Friday, right? Because it's payday on Friday. And then, by Monday or Tuesday, you don't have any money. The envy, I think, is one of the biggest things that holds people back. And that envy is from a lack of confidence in themselves. And it's easier to try to tear other people down and pull other people down with you than it is to, climb out of the hole that you're in. I mean, none of us started with anything, right? Like, we've all built our businesses and our little empires, if you will. And empire it's a very subjective word, because for me right now, like I'm doing the best of anybody in my family ever. But it's minuscule in comparison to so many others. And so I think it's perspective as well, right? Like, yeah, I'm doing well. And I can buy pretty much, anything I want within reason, but I'm poor to a lot of other people. So, I don't know. I mean, the whole conversation is interesting. But yeah, I think it's also your net worth is also directly related to those people that you surround yourself with. I was on a podcast yesterday with Jersey from the Window Cleaning Resource. Good guy, and he said something interesting, and he was equating it to window cleaning or just like I guess basic physics. And like, if you've got a bucket of dirty water, all the shit, right, all the nasty, gross impurities sink to the bottom, and the pure fresh water sinks to the top. And he equated it to like surrounding yourself with the right people. If you're hanging out with drug addicts and drunks and people that are wanting to play video games all day as opposed to get out there and make something of themselves, you're all going to be together at the bottom of that bucket. But the people that really want to kind of grow and get better and improve their lives and their families' lives, they're going to rise to the top. And all the not that people that have money are pure by any means. There's a lot of shitty people that are rich, but again, it's surrounding yourself with the right people. We talk about that all the time. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it.
Mike, I just experienced that the other day with what type of people you surround yourself with, because basically these 3 guys are about the only people I talk to other than people at work. And every once in a while, I'll get around somebody and that I know from church or childhood or school or whatever. I'm like, conversation with this guy the other day, it went to a TV show. He's like, hey man, have you seen that TV show? And I had this moment where I was like, I don't know when the last time I gave a damn about a TV show, and it's like, it doesn't even do anything for me to have a show that I'm into. It's like, I literally can't get into it. I might have something I sit down and watch, but it's just different. Like, those guys they're broke. They're not living in a shack, but they're broke. They don't know they're broke, but they're broke. They don't have disposable income, and they worry about things, and they're about one catastrophe away from having a really bad life all the time. So the people you surround yourself with, it kind of keeps you spurred on to keep thinking the right way. Now, there's a balance to it. In my mind, this is just my opinion. I don't want $100 million if that means that I don't get to be me, and I don't get to enjoy my kids, and I don't get to enjoy my wife and my life, right? Like, there is a line. Now, if I can I don't care what the upper end of the dollar figure is. I don't care about that. Whatever the biggest is, that's what I want. But there is a trade-off somewhere where my time and my sanity, I'll pull the plug. I don't want infinity, because I'm not in love with the money. I'm in love with what the money can do. And what it can do is a lifestyle that I want to live. Now, if I can get more money and maintain roughly this kind of lifestyle, cool beans, we'll do it. We'll push the gas, we'll do it. But I will not push the gas at just the expense of everything else, because now you're the rich man in the Bible that's, building his house and it falls in. There's parables about that. So I don't want to have $100 million if it means my kids don't have anything to do with me when I'm 61. My grandkids, I never see. You see them, like, there's an angle that way that you got to be careful to not fall in love with the money. But that's not the problem that 99% of the population has. They don't have that problem. They have the problem of they don't have no money. And so they're trying to rearrange reality to make it make sense with their situation. They're trying to Dunning-Kruger themselves out of responsibility to get money. My responsibility as a dad is to protect, provide, and make sure everything's taken care of to give that security. So the easier thing, the easier trap to fall into is to think money is bad. Hell, you don't want no money, no way. All them rich people are miserable. Well, I'm going to tell you, That's a fucking lie, because I'm not miserable. I don't know if I can say that, Justin, or where we screen.
You're good, man. Say whatever you want.
I am not miserable right now. I'm going to tell you that right now. Get that out of the way.
I think that's always the rationalization to, make it to where you don't have to learn anything, right? And then you get around those guys, or they get around their other buddies who think that, and then they all start talking that way. Old so-and-so up the street, he got that big old mansion. His kid done killed himself. Well, that must mean they all got kids that just killing themselves. You know what I mean? It's like, well, we ought not do that. We ought not invest in ourselves. We ought not try to do better. We ought not, because Lord knows if we get some money, the devil's going to be in our house. It's like, well, actually the opposite. The devil loves the stagnation. See, and I'm going to let Cody kind of spit on this because he opened my eyes. I don't know if you guys know, but Cody's pretty much a savant with the Bible. Now, he ain't going to say that, but Cody knows a lot about the Bible, and he's taught me so much about nuance. And I'll call him up. I'll say, hey, man, get that theologian degree out, whatever you got, that schooling, and tell me about this verse. And he was telling me about all of the men of the Bible who are mentioned, from Abraham to Job to all of these men who we revere in high regard. David, Solomon, right? Solomon, the wisest man in the eyes of God, it's still written, right? They were all billionaires in that day, with how much land they own, how much cattle, how many camels. If they did the calculation on Job with what he was blessed with all the camels, all the property, and I think Job was worth right at about $90 million. Okay. In today's money, with what he was blessed with by God. So, but ask yourself, who else would God bless? Who else would God ask to further the kingdom than the man with money? Because the poor man can't further the kingdom. He can't duplicate. You know what he is? And this is what all the poor people at church want to tell me way back. But you can give like that little old lady. You can take them 2 pennies because that's all you got.
Yeah.
That's all you got. And see, that right there means it all. It's like, well, I appreciate you 2 pennies, but here's what I need you to do. Get on that bread line right there and make them sandwiches, okay? Because that's about the extent you can do, because you ain't got no money to further the kingdom. Now, I want you guys to research this. If you're into this, if you're into biblical stuff, which I'm interested in, like the deeper part of it. See, all of what these men are about. And when you look into how rich Abraham was at that time and how blessed he was by God, and all of these men and how rich they were, you're going to start finding it your duty to go out and become wealthy. You're going to start finding out maybe it's unholy to not multiply the talents that the master has given you. It's going to hit you, and it should hit you with a weight. It should hit you hard for the lack of study. And guys, look, I'm telling you, I'm not a holier than thou situation here. I study, I learn, I work. We all the guys here on the call, that's what we do. That's what we talk about all the time. How to further the business, how to further the revenue coming into the company. That's what we think about. And it's a good thing. And I want to tell you something. Maybe if I can anchor this to some part of being virtuous for you, you can purge some of that negativity, or that, what I would like to call Satan, that has infiltrated your church, full of stagnation. Because Satan ain't going to tell you to stop. That's not, because he knows you'll keep going if he tells you to stop. He knows you'll push harder if he tells you to stop completely. What he wants you to do is, now go and pray about it another night. Yep. I know you already prayed about it once, but here's what I want you to do. Go and pray about it another 17 times. Don't write that check just yet. Yeah, you need to pray about it. That's Satan whispering in your ear. See how he works? He twists the good and makes you just drift. And so you never invest in the market. You never invest in all the other things. See? So that's my take on it. I think Satan is brilliant. I think he is brilliant. Whatever it is. And I know that he is infiltrated in that way, because if he told you to quit, you would push harder. If he told you to push harder, you kind of wonder. But if he tells you to go pray about it 37 times and have 20 different meetings about the gazebo y'all want to build at the church that ain't never gotten built yet, now I can drift y'all out to where a lot of you die because mortality is real. And now the next generation just stagnates. Take it away.
I want to take another angle on this. We had a comment in here, and this guy's probably trying to be funny, right? Being broke is way more fun. I would argue that being broke is a cop-out, because to be broke, you can be super lazy. And I would say that if you're broke, you're really lazy. I think the amount of money that you can make is in direct proportion to your ability to develop yourself. So little money equals little self-development. In order for you to become somebody that can amass a large amount of money, you must work on yourself in order to get to that point. So being broke is lazy, and being broke is a cop-out. And for people who think that being broke is way more fun, I think it's just an excuse.
PC Weld's got to be careful with that.
Yep. Hold on now. There's two of them right there back to back. I'm
Which
all
one
for
am I
making
missing
money,
there?
but God wants to be rich. But now I get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying, but here's the problem. 99% of people you know just live past that but, because that's the easy side of the equation, right? I'm all for making money on this area. You're right, PC. You're right.
You know what the Bible
is more. There is a bigger picture, but here's the real but. What did God make man to do? Everybody in this chat's a dude. God made man. He put him in the garden. He gave him a job to work. And Adam would have been judged on the results of the garden. You bury your talent in the sand. See, we're just, PC, you're right, but I almost have to be so abrasive with the way I say it, because like Aaron's saying, it's infiltrated into our subconscious. You almost have to say a step further. You almost have to leave the but out and just say that to retrain your poverty programming the other way, right? Here's a good example. Rich Men North of Richmond. #1 song, big hit, right? Big hit for what, a month now, going on a month. Oliver Anthony, whatever the dude's name is. Oliver Anthony, I think. Good song. Why we like that song? Why is everybody over here in the chat? Everybody that watches this video would say, yeah, I love that song, man. Why? Because the song is doing nothing except highlighting the they up in Washington. They're north of Richmond. What? Rich men north of Richmond. I listened to it the first time and I thought, well, hell, I'm rich. Why is just the rich men north of Richmond? Why ain't it the rich men everywhere else telling the ones in Richmond, you're going to do right or we're going to come kick your ass? We don't have the funding to change America. We don't like what America is becoming, but we simultaneously have no money to put the correct candidates in office and then to hold them accountable, because the devil, the evil of the ether, the societal mechanism has convinced us that poor is moral. Well, that's a great tactic, ain't it? If you can be the silent majority that has all the correct viewpoints. We've got the morality viewpoint on our side. We think the right way about a nuclear family. We think the right way about hard work. We ain't about welfare. We hate communism, right? We got all the right doctrine.
And 300 pound, 5'1" people.
Yeah, exactly. You can't execute on none of it because you've been convinced to worry about that. Well, I'm going to lay up treasures in heaven. Well, you keep doing that. Do that. But you've also got to win down here. I'm not ready. I'm not willing to win. I don't want to just win the war in heaven to get to heaven so I can rest in the sweet by and by. That's a given. I'm a Christian. I'm born again Christian. I'm going to heaven. My job, that'll be done. I've crossed the finish line, as Paul said. I've run my race. I finished my course. I'm judged for what I do here. The works, wood, hay, and stubble is all going to burn up. Gold, silver, precious stones. Let me take that verse and I'll quit ranting, okay? But gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble. What are the differences there? Gold, silver, precious stones are all on the ground. You can't see them. They're hard to get. But they don't melt. Wood, hay, and stubble, they're easy to get. They're right over there. So what the devil does, I don't mean like the little guy with the pitchfork and the red tail. I'm saying the societal mechanism of evil has convinced the male Christian core values American guy, right? That's us. They've convinced us that broke is better, and it's actually the moral stance to take. Well, that's the ultimate checkmate, because it don't matter what you believe if you can't execute it out into the well, I don't want it to be political. That's what he told Joe Rogan. Well, I don't care if you want it to be. It is political, because if you let them keep winning the political battles, you're going to keep paying more taxes to buy the fudge rounds. You cannot like buying the fudge rounds all you want, but until you've got enough funding to move the needle, you're going to continue to watch the country degrade until there's got to be a great big war to reset the scale. So having money and your relationship with money and looking at money, it's not that you love the money, it's that you love the tool of the money. You love the tool that the money allows you to go affect change in your life, in your relationships, and in your country at the highest level.
Amen.
You know, the other thing that the Bible says is the Bible says that those that are kind or tend to the poor will be rewarded by God. And poor, you know, when you're poor, it's a hell of a lot easier or a hell of a lot harder to actually be able to tithe, to give back to the community. And it doesn't have to be to the church. You know, you can give to charities. I assure you that when I was struggling and I was concerned about, you know, making the mortgage payment and things of that nature, tithing and the generosity that I would have loved to have given, my priority wasn't there. It was on my family and paying bills and stuff like that. So, you know, it just goes to show that, like, wealth is not deemed a negative or a horrible thing in the eyes of God or the Bible or anybody else. You know, it is by other people, but not in the eyes of God. And ultimately that's who we have to answer to. But this whole thing is quite funny.
I want to bring this comment in here because, like, this dude Phantom is in the comment section. I'll challenge all of you guys on this subject matter live on air. Says like the dude with the avatar and the name that doesn't make any sense. Phantom, I'll tell you what, we will do a live debate. You just have to do this. Take the next 4 years and build yourself up on this platform to where you have an audience, to where you can actually say something that's meaningful to anybody other than, you know, you want to come on our stage and utilize our platform, and that's just not cool. So you're just a little
don't get to making videos, young blood.
There's just a comment in the comment section. Like, start a channel, Phantom. You know what I mean? And use your real name. Anyway, that's one of the problems with society today is all these people on the internet. I think you should have to use your real avatar, like, on everything.
I like that comment he said up there. No one ever said being poor was moral. Actually, they do. In all, there's a statistic. I don't know it, but so many Hollywood movies, from if you were born from here to here, that you've watched businessmen commit X amount of murders. They're always portrayed as the Scrooge McDuck. I was just watching Batman Returns in here earlier, though. Michael Keaton and Christopher Walken, he's the bad guy. He's Max, right? And he's like the evil business guy. They're always Mr. Spacely, Jetson, you're fired. It's the evil business guy. Here's how effective it is. It's so effective that you can't even see it. That's how effective it is, that you've been convinced that you just want to make enough money to have a good life. If you go past a certain amount now, there's like this mystical ether number. If you go past a certain amount, or you start driving a certain kind of car, or you live in a certain house, or you wear a certain kind of watch, or whatever the signal is, everybody, they don't jive with that anymore. They start hating on you. That's really just a them problem, right? Mike's right when the Bible does admonish you to take care of the poor, but you can't do that if you are the poor. You can't move the needle. Like, it's so sad and silly to me that our churches and our movements and our conservative platforms we're scared of the thing that would actually affect the change, right? We are anti what we say we're anti. We don't want to have. We've got the gun. Ain't got no ammo. We ain't got no bullets to shoot at. Well, they all up there. Just go sit in the barbershop in Roanoke on Saturday and listen to the banter. Well, you hear about that bill they passed? Man, I can't believe that. Our forefathers would have just went over and shot them. Like, that's what they would have done. But we can't even got the funding to send the guy we want to send up there to vote the right way. But we figured out that that's the moral stance. It's the head down, just work, don't pay them no attention, just your relationship with money. You need to start, guys, you need to start looking at money as a tool. It is truly just a tool to affect an outcome. And once you start seeing it that way, well, now I want as many tools as I can have because I can affect a lot of outcomes. I can take care of people. I can make things happen in my community. I can make things happen in my church. I can make things happen for my employees. I can make things happen for people around me if you have the ability to do that. Now, it's a balancing act. Like the Bible's trying to teach you, all those Old Testament guys, they were extremely wealthy. There are a few New Testament characters that carried weight in as far as monetary weight, but it's pretty rare. The New Testament doesn't really highlight that. But it's just weird to me that we sing the songs about Father Abraham and we teach David and Goliath and Song of Solomon, but yet we ignore the fact that these guys, God blessed them, and that was their job, was to take the blessing God had given them and to go multiply it and affect other people in a positive way.
Boom. Love it. I want to bring in this comment real quick, you guys. Someone like me, 22 years old, tired of working a 9-to-5, even 2 jobs, and wants to just make it out. But I've seen there's plenty of ways to get rich, lost in which one to follow. Any advice for this, guys?
Even 2 jobs, I'm going to just make it out.
Marcos is sick of his 9-to-5, and he wants to get rich, and he wants to know what direction he should go in, basically.
I don't know. Like, what are you into, dude? Like,
find a way to provide value, right? We're paid in direct correlation to the amount of value that we offer. Like somebody in here, too much ego, guys talking like Bezos. Well, Bezos provided a lot of value, and so do we. And anybody who wants to talk and be an opposing force, create a YouTube channel. Make a video, put your face online. All these guys talk shit in the comment section who have avatars and fake names. It's like, what kind of honor is there in that? You know what I mean? You're not even yourself in the comment section and you want to come on and debate us? Like,
you're lower.
I was looking at this guy at the resort here yesterday. Look at this. This dude, we paid this dude $400 for beach chairs, right? This is an easy gig. Whoever owns this little beach chair, these umbrellas, where they at though? Oh, there they are. Are them green ones right there? See them? All them's one company. So he's making bank just freaking umbrellas and beach chairs. But somebody had to buy them, and they've staffed it, and they've got a contract with the resort, and they probably got multiple resorts. There's literally opportunities everywhere around you to provide, like Justin said, to provide a value to somebody. So it's sort of a hard lens to see until you start seeing it, and then you'll start seeing them all over the place. Like, oh man, I could do that. I could do that. The problem you start having then is you got so many opportunities, you don't know really which one to zone in on. So I just thought that was cool. That dude's did some quick math. He's making multiple 6 figures, sticking up umbrellas and freaking beach chairs and pulling them in the evening and putting them out in the morning. That's pretty slick.
I want to give you guys another example. So like I went into the grocery store like a couple months back, and like I saw that they started dicing up all the fruit. And so now you can get like these big buckets of like already cleaned, already diced fruit. And I was telling Mike this the other day. The cost on that fruit is probably like 3 or 4 times what I would pay to just get the fruit in the little basket thing, but I'd have to go and clean it and chop it. The convenience of cleaning the fruit, chopping it, they sell way more fruit that way. And when fruit starts to go bad, they chop it, they clean it, chop it, and they put it out and they sell it quicker. It's the little value add. How do you make somebody's life more convenient? How do you add a little bit of value? And
but
that's
you
how
can't see that if you think that chopped fruit's too expensive.
That's true. Who the hell's buying that damn chopped?
Why don't you just buy the whole watermelon and do it yourself? Like,
And
you
so,
can't even see your own brokenness is ruining the opportunity. You have fogged your own lenses up thinking it's virtuous. Well, I would never buy that. So therefore, apparently, the rest of the planet wouldn't buy it. No, the rest of the planet's buying it.
And so we're looking at 2 different people here, right, Aaron? You got one person that values the time that they're going to spend over the money. And you got another person that values the money that they're going to spend over the time investment. So you want to become somebody that values their time more than the money, because at the end of the day, that's the person who buys the sliced fruit, Cody, that's the person who's buying the sliced deli meat, right? Like,
You could
not
slice
looking at
it
price.
yourself.
right?
Yeah. You could be a dumbass too.
Dude, have y'all ever got sliced meat from the deli department? You ever walk up and get them
all
to
the
slice you
time.
something?
Hell
Dude, those people are the most unhappy people. And why? Because they are stuck at a job where they're slicing deli meat and they gotta, you know how they bring it over there, they slice it and they hold it up and they go, "Hey, is this thin enough for you?" And you got Karen over there like, "No, just a little bit thinner." And then they gotta slice another one. You know what I mean?
Hey, dude,
Hey,
the other
oh, that's a little too thin. Can you bring it up a notch?
the, the,
They're just like these people that are unhappy with their jobs, and it's because you're not providing enough value. Anybody can slice the meat.
Hey, so the other day I was at Kroger, and so at my Kroger they've got all of the deli, like you can buy the boar's head deli meat. They cut it fresh every single day. They bag it, they price it, and then they've got it like right by the deli, so you don't have to wait around for that Karen who wants it a specific thickness and all that. So that's what. Well, they didn't have the turkey that I wanted. I like an oven gold turkey. And they didn't have any. So I went to the deli guy, and I was like, "Hey man, can I get, I think it was 2 pounds of the turkey." And he goes, "How do you want to slice?" I was like, "However you guys slice it over there is perfect." And he's like, "Okay, great." And he weighed it, and it came out to like 2.04. And I looked at him, and because it's me, I go, "Dude, I asked for 2 pounds." and he looks at me, and I was like, "I'm just kidding." He goes, "You wouldn't believe how many people get angry when I go over by 0.2.
Oh
And he goes, and I was like, "All you need to do is take a piece, bite it, and drop it back on." He's like, "Dude, I would love to do that, but I can't. They'd fire me." And I apologize. My yard guys are here, and my yard guys are here because I see value in not doing that. Right? I could easily go out and mow a lawn. I could go and edge and blow. I used to have a landscape business, and my employees would do it. I've sold that, and now Miguel and his crew come and they do it, and they do a phenomenal job. But a lot of people say, "Oh, you're lazy." Nobody in my neighborhood says that I'm lazy. It's the norm. And because I surround myself with people that aren't poor and broke, and have a mindset of the scarcity mindset, but this is like the prime example of, would I rather be in here in the air conditioning behind my desk, working, and being able to jump on and talk to you guys out here and these 3 guys that I love talking with. Is it lazy? Absolutely not. It's one of the perks of not being lazy. It's actually the complete opposite of being lazy. And I think Aaron kind of talked about this on a live with Justin, but like, I don't know, you want to expound on that? That one was pretty good.
The matrix,
the smart lazy matrix.
Yeah.
Basically, the smarter you are, the lazier you have the opportunity to be.
Yeah.
The issue is the smarter you get, the harder you actually work. Right. Because you're able to have, I call it the lens. And the lens is the ability to see opportunities better than other people. Growing up South Alabama, dude, ain't nobody got a lens for nothing but sweat. They can't see leverage anywhere. When I came 19, I got involved with a network marketing company, and I did well. I was an executive director. But the big thing, and I recommend everybody, if they're young, get involved with a network marketing company, because it's very contrary to what anyone's going to tell you. They're like, "Oh, that's a pyramid scheme." Well, no, they're not, because those are very highly regulated. But the idea is not necessarily all the money that you're going to make, but you will make money. But the ability and who you're going to be around and the information they make you read. And they made me read so many books. Like, I had never come in contact with Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, Robert Kiyosaki. What is that one? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Like, go down the list. The Science of Getting Rich, Wallace Wattles. Go down all of these books, a massive library that I eventually accumulated because I was around guys who were constantly studying and reading and selling and learning. And if you're in a small town, you need to get around that because no one's doing it. And that's how I developed this lens for what they call leverage, right? The ability to, like Mike is saying, leverage. He has leverage on his time. That's the most valuable leverage. right? Money, having leverage on your money is very valuable too. Those are probably neck and neck, but I would say time is worth more because it's finite, right? Money, you can always make more money, right? But the problem is a lot of the poor folks in where I'm from, they think they have all the time in the world. They think money is the finite resource. It's reversed. It's absolutely reversed. Whereas rich people know they have no time. You're going to die one day. And they're like, nah, dude, I can make more money. I can make plenty of money. Poor people, opposite.
Isn't that crazy?
It's wild. It is a mirror opposite, dude.
It's what the verse I started with is telling you. If you love money, you'll default to the way to spend the most time to get the least money.
Yep.
Right? What we're trying to do is spend the least amount of time and extract the most amount of money because we don't care about the money, care about the time.
So technically, the poor guy loves money more.
Exactly.
Because he doesn't value his time.
That's the script flip.
Mother.
Boy, come on.
Read the verse backwards the whole time.
Read
Read it backwards. Right? It's very interesting. Like Justin talking about with the fruit, and then Mike got the lawn care guy. It's everywhere around you. You're just trying to find a way to provide value to the market so that they.
I would tell you.
We were at Sunday. We ate out with some friends Sunday. We were going to go to Fogo, and they couldn't go, so we were just going to go get steaks and cook them at their house for their daughter's birthday. So we stopped by Publix after church, and the guy's got, you're talking about the meat counter guy, he's got the like 6 filet mignons in the little row right there. And I was just looking around. He had some good looking stuff, and I said, hey, I'll just take that whole row of fillets right there. He looked and he was like, you want all of them? I was like, yeah, just give me that whole row, because we got 5 of us, and just give me the whole row. I might want more than one. They're small. Guy beside me in his buggy, he pulled a pack out, and he said, hey, they got these over there, and it's just a big hunk, and it's a lot cheaper, but you just cut it yourself. And I said, no, I don't care about that. See, that would involve me cutting the meat up. I don't care about that. I'd rather just get the 6 fillets. Now, part of that was convenience. I bought the 6 fillets because they were pre-cut. They looked good. They took the time to cut them and present them in a certain way that made them look good. That's part of the trigger that made me buy. The other trigger was it was fillets, right? And the other trigger was I wanted to buy the whole row because I'm the guy that buys the whole row of fillets, right? I know that. Like, I know enough about me to know I'm doing that, but I still do it. I'm buying on personal identity. I'm the guy that wipe your row of fillets out. To a dude I'm going to see for 30 seconds. I'll buy another fillet. I'm not doing it for him. I'm doing it for me because I'm in Roanoke. And if I don't do things like that, I will not reprogram the poverty mindset out of me. I'll be the next thing I know, I'll be the dude justifying spending 2 hours cutting my own fillets to save some money. And then you do that for a year, and you're eating sirloins, and you do that for a year, and you're eating hot dogs. So
you might as well raise that cattle, Cody. Damn, you could save so much money.
You could save so much. I don't want to save it. Like Aaron was saying, I can get more money. Hell, that ain't no problem. I can get some more money. What I can't do is get some more time. And so because I'm kind of landlocked to a small town mindset around everybody, I almost try to go really a lot of people online see me say they don't get what I'm doing, but I know what I'm doing. I'm trying to reprogram the trailer park out of my brain because I've made tens of millions of dollars, literally tens of millions of dollars. And it's wild to me. I'm like, how the hell did I do this? Part of it's God. It's not like magic dust God. It's applying the formulas, but a lot of it is just went against the grain of the poverty mindset.
I like this. I think we should all share one on this. I'm going to go next. I started carrying $100 bills in my wallet. We all got that little flap on the front of the wallet. I put $100 bills in there. I keep 5 in there. And you know why? Somebody found it probably a couple months back, and they go, no, you're supposed to put the little bills on the outside. My papa, whenever he would show me his stack of money, and he'd say, Just, come here, I'm going to teach you something real quick. You want to put the big bills on the inside and the little ones on. No, we don't do that anymore, because guess what? I don't have any little bills. Up here, it's all hundreds. The whole thing is hundreds. And I keep it on the front of the wallet to remind me every time. I never fall back. Just like Cody said, You fall back a little bit, you start cutting your own fillets, then you start cutting your own sirloins, and then you got hot dogs. So that's mine.
Dude, that is brilliant, Justin. It's all the conscious reprogramming of your mind. Like, see how humble that is? Think about it. Like, you have to be humble enough to understand how susceptible your mind is. I don't think I'm immune. I ain't too big. All right. I ain't immune to the mindset. And that's why Cody talks about buying the whole row, because you have to consciously reprogram, because you're aware of the devil. See, the devil is, if you know what he looks like, you can keep him in frame. And that's that impoverished mindset, that stagnation, the drift. And so that's why he's buying the whole row, because he looks over at the devil and says, "Got you, bitch." Every time. And then he invests in the business, right? Then Justin's got a stack of hundreds, because every time he opens that wallet and he sees that 100, he says, "Hey, yo, I got this." And you need it. You need that reinforcement of yourself. It's not for everyone else to look at.
Yep.
It ain't got nothing to do with everybody else. It's got to do with you telling yourself and getting momentum on your self-esteem. You have to get momentum on yourself, because you will slowly slide back in. And you know what? You'll wake up 5 years later and you're eating hot dogs. And you're like, how the hell did I get back here? It's because you weren't conscious of who the devil was. You didn't draw him out as you see him. You didn't label what he is. A lot of y'all just think it's some arbitrary, ethereal, always got some horns, and he looks like a little orb. Whatever you think it looks like. No. Draw it out. And every time you bet on yourself and you write the check and you provide for your family like you're supposed to do, and you're a good steward of the money, and you're multiplying the talents, you look over at the devil and you say, "Got you, bitch." That's what I do every single time. That's the formula.
I'm going to give you guys another one, and then I'm going to segue to Mike, because I got one that Mike does, and I'm going to give you guys that one. This one Aaron kind of gave me, and we got this one from Dan Kennedy. We keep the checks, right? And you know what you don't do? You don't deposit the check right away. Okay, you let the check sit there a little bit. And the counterintuitive, the other side, like, you show if your mom came in and saw something like this, she'd be like, "What are you doing?" You know what I mean? Like, what happens if the money's not there? Like, we need to go ahead and deposit that as soon as we get it. But we don't, right, Aaron? We let the check stack. We deposit them on our own time. And I leave them here too. I have a stack of checks looking at me all the time, because guess what? That money's close, baby.
There was a valve. I'll let Mike go, but to tag onto that for a second. There was a valve check, some of the money that's come through some of the businesses. And Cody called me up about a month later. He goes, "Hey, dude, that thing ain't gone through yet." I said, "I know."
Emily's like, "Aaron, I can't close these books out if Aaron don't cash the check."
I said, "It's I said, "I'm just looking at it. I like to look at it." See, it's reprogramming your brain. And I went on and deposited it, because I really just wanted a phone call. That's what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to clear out the fillets for Emily, right? You know what I mean? She said, "I'll be damned." But I went and cashed it. But the point is to get momentum on your mind. Your self-esteem is the most valuable thing in this whole equation, because it leads to more wins. Mike, go ahead.
But yeah, I'm gonna tell you. I don't know if Mike knows his, but I'm gonna tell him in a second. But you flip the psychology, right? What does a poor person do? They get that check. You better believe that check is cashed within 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? They're going right to the bank on Friday.
Hey,
the check. What does a rich person do? I'll get to the check when I get a chance, because I don't necessarily need it.
Yeah, and I'll let you. I don't know what I think I know what you're talking about, okay, but I know the mail route of the mail carrier in my neighborhood. And we've moved this. We've been in this house like 18 years, but at my old house, it was the same neighborhood. I knew the route of the mail carrier, because on days that I knew that I was getting some of these checks in, and like I needed those checks to be in the bank, I would go and find the mail carrier, because I needed to get that money in the bank. And I've never heard the Dan Kennedy thing. But there have been times, and I've got like a little stack of stuff here, like things that I need to do. And I've gone in there and I found $10,000, $15,000 worth of checks that I was like, have I deposited this yet? And I'm like, oh shit, I haven't. And then it's like pennies from heaven, and it's a good day. But Justin, tell me what mine
But
was.
it's a complete frame switch, right, Mike? Because early on in Mike's business, he was chasing the mailman down to deposit the checks. Now he might have 10 cages sitting on the desk that he
Do
just
you know how embarrassing that is too? To be
What?
like, hey, you got anything for me today? And they'd be like, oh, and dude, like, if I caught like early on in the route, like they're like the mail carriers are really really meticulous in how they stage, because every morning they go in and they have to stage their own mail, right? And so they've got a system, right? And so all the stuff that they deliver first is in all these plastic cases, and they're stacked. And so as the day goes on, they're moving these empty cases to the bottom, and then they're getting towards the people. Well, I was at the end of the route. And so my shit was always at the bottom, and I'd find her at the beginning of the route, and she'd be like, get out, unpack all of her shit, find my check, and be like, here, you broke ass. And so it's nice not to have to do that.
And it is difficult with a business like what I run or what Mike has with employees, right? Because you got overhead, you got a building, you got every day for those gates to open costs an amount of money. So sometimes it can be a cash flow issue. But if you're having those problems, if it keeps coming up, then you just got to look at, okay, something's, I don't want to keep living like that. So you got to restructure, you got to do some other things. We could have sat on our ass 2 years ago and been like, we don't need auction ox, we don't need the super pump, we don't need a valve, we don't need quote IQ. You don't need it, but the more of those, that's what the balance is. It's knowing you're not in love with the money, but you need the money and you want the money because it opens up. It's a tool, right? The more tools I got, the better I can get the job done. So the balancing side of the equation of buying the fillets and reprogramming your mind is okay, you can do that as long as you're also busting it out over here on the other side. Because if you just do this side, you're going to spend your way back to broke. If you just do this side, you're a rich miser and you'd never enjoyed life. See, it's truly about blending the two where you enjoy your life, or you get to treat your kids to the 6 fillets. Micah's like, Dad, can I get that A5 Wagyu? Yeah, you can, you jackass. You can get it. But the balance is they're going to go bust it out. Like they got to go anodize 1,000 titanium tall reach tips next week. So once you find that balance, it's almost like the fillets wouldn't taste good if you hadn't earned them. It wouldn't mean anything, right? It wouldn't mean it. So you busted your ass, and then you get to treat yourself with the 6 fillets. But if you only do the 6 fillet thing, you get to be my sister-in-law. You broke as hell, like perpetually broke. Ain't coming out of poverty. Just can't see a way out. So God's all. I'm a believer. Okay, so reality is a reflection of what God says. God wants us to be balanced. That's where the harmony comes in. Being balanced in the way you see things, the way you view money, the way you use it as a tool, as your advantage. God told Adam and Eve, well, he wasn't speaking to them, but it's in Genesis, that this is cool. God made light. He made all the stuff, right? Every day creation. He said everything was good. He said all that stuff was good. He made man. He said man was very good. Man's the only thing that he said made light and he saw that it was good. Made the trees, saw that it was good. Made the fowls of the air, saw that it was good. He made man, said it was very good. The next time God calls something good in Scripture is a little further into Genesis, and he said there's gold in that land. He was talking about the area that was going to become Jerusalem, that the Euphrates area. He said there's gold in that land, and the gold is good. That's very interesting. God made all this stuff. He said it was good. Don't hear the word good out of God's mouth again until he's referencing gold, which is money, it's a tool that God made. God said it was good. So for you to say, well, money's evil, first, you bastardize the verse. 2, you bastardize the meaning. 3, you actually took what God said and you completely looked at it from the other side. Now, what does that sound like to you? To me, it sounds like Satan. I think the devil's ultimate play is to let all the guys that think like us, okay, I think we're right. Damn it. If I didn't think I was right, I wouldn't think this way. But I think I'm right. Culturally, I think I'm right. I ain't about the LGBTQ. I ain't about it. All right. Y'all can go to hell with that. COVID, I think I'm right. I ain't wearing a fucking mask. You can go to hell with that. I think I'm right. Working hard, I think I'm right. Raising a family, I think I'm right. Y'all all think the same damn thing. What's the ultimate way for the devil to clip our wings? Make you think you ain't got money's bad. You
Amen.
take all the ammo, you take all the diesel out of the tanks. Well, it don't matter what kind of tank you got, you ain't got no diesel in it. That's the ultimate tactic that he's been very successful at in American culture. You go back to the 20s, successful business people were looked at in a very positive light. And you start watching with the advent of television and radio and media and social media, now the internet and all the things we have, it's been a slow turn to where the leftist liberal agenda is to make they don't pay their fair share. I don't know about y'all. I've paid multiple millions of dollars in taxes. That ain't a fair share. It's not a fair share. I don't believe that's right. So you see what he's done. He's been able to completely flip what God said. Money's good. No, money's bad. Love of money is the root of all evil. No, money's the root of all evil. That's how most people quote that verse. So you got to watch yourself. You got to watch what you surround yourself. What's going in here all the time? What are you sticking in your mind? Because your outlook on wealth, prosperity, and money will directly affect your relationship with it.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. Do we want to give one more example? I wanted Mike, I wanted you to share about how you never wait at restaurants.
Oh, I don't wait at restaurants.
No, he does not.
There are two things that I do not do. I do not eat from a buffet because that's disgusting. And at a buffet, what do? You stand in line to be fed. And I'm not going to do that. So that's the first thing that I don't do. And the second thing that I don't do is I don't wait for a table. Like if I go to a restaurant and I don't have a reservation, and we'll make reservations at restaurants that we know, but say we're out of town and there's a restaurant that I want to go to, and I go and they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Do you have a reservation? We do not. Yeah, we're booked tonight. And I was like, you are? Well, I have $100 that says I would like a table within the next 10 minutes. And guess what happens every single time?
It's wild as hell.
It's amazing. I sit and I eat a very enjoyable meal, and they treat you very, very well because they know that you're probably going to tip well, is what, So yeah, I don't. And my wife gets so mad because she thinks it's obnoxious, and it's not being obnoxious. It's just like I know what I want and I'm willing to pay for it. I don't know. That's my little thing. I will, and that's why Justin says he keeps cash in his wallet. I don't have a wallet. I just carry my phone, and I always, before we go out, because I never carry cash. Before I go out, I open my. I better not tell everybody.
Tell us where your money's at, Mike.
I put it inside my phone case, but I put a couple $100 in there because I never know if I got to pay to sit.
What's the opposite side of that, right? We'll just sit down and we'll wait 30 minutes and then we're going to get our table now.
Because your time,
Mike says, I'm not waiting.
No.
Time is what the time is what we value, right? Because Mike might get in and out of there an hour quicker, and he may go on and have an idea that's worth 6-7 figures. Holy crap. But he ain't going to have that sitting there burning the time. He don't love the time. He's buying back his time. That's what he's doing because his time is valuable.
People wonder why I smoke all these cigars. They have no idea. I said, I made more money smoking cigars. Like smoking cigars is not cheap, right? But look, I don't drink high level bourbon. That's not my thing. I picked what I do. I also don't smoke cigarettes. Ain't never smoked one in my life. Never even put one on my lips. Never lit one ever. I smoke cigars. Now, I do smoke about 2 or 3 of them a day, and they ain't bad cigars. All right, they're nice cigars, but here's the thing. Cody and I, every time Justin might call me, I'm smoking. We have tons of ideas. Cody and I sit on the back porch. We'll think, dude, we're smoking cigars. We thought of Oxnox. We're smoking cigars. We had crazy ideas that have come to fruition from us doing something that is so superfluous to the normal broke person, right? They would say, man, y'all spend a lot of money on them cigars. That's too damn much. Well, I'll be damned. The wildest thing is, how much money have we made from the ideas that we've got to sit down and fellowship and reflect and really calm our brains in this reflectory thing? One thing that was crazy that changed my brain about smoke. Got a lot of guys on here. Man, you should stop smoking. It's like, here's the thing. I have a pipe, right? A tobacco pipe. I don't smoke no weed, but I have a pipe. And I learned a statistic that people who smoke pipes statistically live longer than people who don't smoke anything. And that blew my mind. And I said, how could that be? Everyone would say smoking anything is terrible because now pipe smoking is not as popular as it used to be way back. So obviously there's less of a pool, and that's how they're pulling these numbers. But what I did learn is pipe smoking, or smoking in general, a cigar or something like this, a higher end version of it, right? Not smoking Pall Malls, right? At the local Save-A-Lot. It's a reflection time. It's a time to think, a time to allow the brain to clear out and really focus and have an idea that could change the game for you. And that's what Mike is talking about buying his time back, because money, you can get more of it. You can't get more time. You can't get more time. We sit there and we smoke. We think. We come up with Oxnox. We come up with Wood Wizard. We come up with Batch Buster. We come up with Super Pump. Can I go down the list? And all of these are things that you've seen. What about the shit you ain't seen yet? All that's from us sitting there buying back our time, having a period of reflection, and buying things that people think, where I'm from, is stupid and too expensive. You got to change the way you think about your time and how valuable it is and how you invest that calm reflection period, especially as a man. That is the magic time of the day for you. And if you can't get that, then you have no way of reclaiming any of this money that you're spending on the bass boat or any of this bullshit. You've got to be able to reclaim your time and have a period of reflection.
I love it. I want to highlight this one comment, then we can wrap from there. But Chill says, there are many options to purchase chems after that Cody breakdown of success. I'm switching to Southeast. So we appreciate that, Chill. Awesome comment, man. So yeah, boys, anything else with regards to this topic? This is something we love to ramble on because we deal with it day in, day out. We deal with people that are too cheap to spend $1 a day to monitor the most important analytics within their business. Imagine not even being able to know what your close ratio is, not knowing how much money you're making versus how much money you're spending, not knowing which services you're selling more of. Imagine saying, I don't have $1 a day to put towards the most important things, the pulse of my business. And I know, Cody, you deal with it all the time too, but that's why we got to come on here and kind of change some minds, you know what I mean, with regards to psychology of money.
Well, at the end of the day, guys, and I can't speak for any of you, but I just think you guys are all a bunch of scammers, and I think that you're only in it for the money. I don't think you're providing. I don't think you're providing any value. I don't think you've helped anybody. I don't think that the thousands and thousands of emails that we get saying that we've changed lives. I think they're fake. It's
GPT wrote it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Anyway,
bunch of scammers.
Yeah.
Hey man, dogs don't bark at parked cars.
That's right.
Because they only bark at Ferraris, apparently.
They don't bark at parked cars. If you're stagnant, ain't no dog barking at you, man. Yeah. If you're going somewhere, people want to tear you down. And I hope that some of you guys can get some people who are, first people is going to be who are anti your dreams or your family. They're the first people who are going to, and they may not be anti. What they're going to tell you to slow down now. They're going
to tell you to put the small bills on the outside. Okay. Don't be buying that whole row of fillets now. You ain't going to eat all that.
Well, go on, get financing on that building now. It'll be better. I said, no, I'll just write a check for the building. All right. Like, go on finance it. Why? I'm going to make it happen. It's going to work. It's like you have to almost walk to the poor. You have to be cocky. You have to be that way, because if they are put off by any type of confidence. If you believe in yourself at all, they are like, that is wrong. Get out.
You're not humble anymore.
So if that's what I learned years ago, is if that's what they're going to call me anyway, then I'm going to lean into it even heavier. If they're going to chastise me for going somewhere and believing in myself and betting on myself and investing, right, then hell, double down. I'll be the poster child for you guys to shoot at. Hell, if you're not shooting at me, I'm kind of upset. Some of y'all shoot at Mike too much. I'm like, I was like, Mike got good at talking shit. I'm like, I'm the king of talking shit around here.
Hey, well, Aaron, let me clarify. I've always been good at talking shit. I was trying to find my voice on the interweb.
And
By God, I think you found it.
I
Mike.
found it.
I'm proud of him. I'm
Under
proud
a
of
rock
him.
somewhere.
Hey, healthy competition. I'm like, that's something going to talk good at talking shit.
I've got channels. I've got channels that are dedicated to me, right? Just talking specifically about me and how horrible I am. And
Facebook groups that are dedicated.
Oh
to
my
talking
God,
shit about
Facebook
us.
groups. I found one the
Mike's,
other day. One of the guys from the inner circle sent me a screenshot and I was like, holy shit. And I was like, where is this from? So he sent me the link and I went and I had to join it. And I start reading, and well, the first, I obviously went to that one first. And so I'm reading all about, me. And then I scroll down and I shit you not, the next one was, well, Southeast Soft Wash has got the worst customer service ever. And then it was posted like 4 hours previous, and there was like 84 comments. Right. And probably 70 of those guys had never purchased anything from Southeast Soft Wash.
I tell them,
Yeah, it's just amazing. But what I do like is that they're talking about us, right? Posting my videos, getting me more views. That's like, what are you guys doing? Thank you.
I'll have people telling me that they're talking about Quote IQ, and I'm like, well, what are they saying? And they're all talking about, hey, it's too expensive. $30 a month, $1 a day is too expensive for y'all. I mean, it's okay.
If
Look,
somebody utters those sentences around me, I don't care if it's at a family reunion. I'm gonna just go on and get me some mac and cheese and move to the other side of the joint. Like, I don't need to be around you, man. Hey, I love you, and if you do get stuck in a ditch or something, I'll pull you out. Okay, that Hummer will pull you out, by God. But I ain't gonna hang out with you. I love you, but I'll love you from afar. See?
And Aaron, if they need to know what time it is, you'll tell them.
Hey, go on, tell them, boy. Go on, tell them. They ain't ready for that.
will you be there to pull me out?
Well, I do reckon.
Hold on, let me look.
Damn. And that's one of the reasons why we associate with each other, because none of us have ever said that's too much. We've always said, well, what do we do to make it happen? And it's
What do we need to do? What kind of value do we need to correct, Justin? What kind of value do we need to add? When you make an Oxnox or Wood Wizard, right? You're like, this shit's got to be great. Like, let's test it on every single thing. Let's go into the depths of the toe and what he would say about it, and let's engineer it to where we give them exact videos of every single scenario you would use it in, right? It's got to be excellent. So when you're thinking about this, guys, you can't think in terms of like, that's too much. You have to think in terms of, like Justin's saying, what do I need to do to get it? What do I need to learn? What class do I need to take? Right? We got an event we're going to soon, dude. Core 4 probably too. It's like a video event. Like, dude, I'm trying to learn, trying to plug in, man.
Yeah, everything's too expensive.
But we ain't getting a cut on that, so we can't say nothing.
Yeah,
The buildings are expensive.
I was
too expensive. The mezzanine's too expensive. The payroll's too expensive. The rack's too expensive. The fence. What's not too expensive? Like it. Do you want to have a company or not? Like, do you want to be in business or you want a hobby? Like, I ain't trying to have no hobby. I'm trying to have a business. Businesses have expenses. Okay, that's part of it. You want some expenses. You need some expenses. Good for you to have some expenses. You need to figure out how to make the profit to charge for those expenses. So the more people you help, the more people you can get money. They can give you their money voluntarily. Then you can afford the expenses. Like, at some point, the expenses are what they are. Like, the laptop's too expensive. The internet's too. You know how many people would have said that? Like, that's why they don't have anything, because everything's too expensive. They're not looking at it from the right angle. They're only looking at one side of the equation.
You know what's wild is if it's not too expensive and it's free and then it sucks, you know what they say? Well, you get what you pay for. My God, like what? Which is it? Which is it, bro? It's all too expensive, but you get what you pay for.
Yep.
Should have paid some more money for it. I told you.
Yep.
No, everything's too expensive.
expensive. What kind of warranties it got? Well, it ain't got one because I know you're a dumbass, and you'd leave bleach in it and you'd cook it, or you'd put the wrong size discharge hose and you'd cook it, or you wouldn't charge your batteries and you'd cook it, or you put the wrong nozzle in it and you'd cook the motor, or you drop it off a damn balcony or something, and you try to warranty it. Don't buy the damn thing. You can make one job, maybe two, if you in Roanoke. Might take 2 jobs and make $1,500 to get a super pump sprays 80 feet. If that's too expensive, don't buy it. Like, I just don't understand it. We just won't go out. If we can't go out, and it's been a long time since we couldn't do that, but if we couldn't go out and get the crab legs for Preston that he wants, little dude wants crab legs. Well, go and get them. Michael wants the Wagyu. Go and get them, hell. Emily wants the cheesecake. If I can't go and do it right, I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not like, well, I'll just wait till I can do it right. But see, you half-ass. You're trying to half-ass the whole time. Then when it don't work, you want to make that everybody else's problem, because it's hard for guys, it's hard for men to admit, well, the reason the Oxnox didn't work is because I diluted it 46-1 because I'm broke. Should have bought a case.
Oh, my God. I have to tell you this.
Tell me.
So I get a message, right? And unfortunately, I know that Cody gets a tremendous amount of a volume of calls and texts and emails. And we've got things set up on our resource page. And it's a program called Podium. And it's basically like a little chat box, and people can ask questions and whatnot. And I had a guy pop in there thinking that it was Southeast Softwash because, you know, we're all interchangeable. But the guy says to me, hey, and you'll have to help me with whatever the terminology is. But he's like, is there any way I can come to the shop and pick up my chemicals? Because I don't want to pay the $45 service fee for like toxic. What is it?
Hazmat fee.
Hazmat. There's a fee for hazmat. I don't want to pay the $45. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I already know where this is going, but I gotta fuck with them. So I'm like, hey, where do you live? I know where Cody's shop is. Cody is in Roanoke, Alabama. This guy was in Ocala, Florida. It would have taken this dude 8 hours to drive from Ocala to Roanoke, and then another 8, maybe 6 back. Okay. Regardless, he was willing to spend all of his time going there and coming back to save $45. And I just asked him, do you really think that you can get to Roanoke and back in your truck with the cost of gas, you know, and obviously this guy has zero value on his own time. And do you really think that you're going to save that $45, or do you think you should just pay the $45 and have it shipped to you? And he didn't respond, which I wasn't expecting him to, but like, that is the epitome of the mindset that we are talking about right now.
You're not paying the $45. The customer is.
Right.
The customer pays the $45.
It's like
him. You factor it into the job.
Do
Kim to look at it in your Oakley display cabinet that you don't have, because I have one. See, you don't have one. I have one. You didn't buy it as a damn trophy case. You're supposed to. Well, damn, I can't believe that skid is. Well, you're just. I tell you what you do. Walk around the house and you take the bleach in your hand. You throw it up on the siding like that. That's your other option. It's just crazy, guys. We're talking about an industry that you can make $2,000 a day, $1,000 a day, 50, depending on where you're at. You can, like, if you ain't even good at sales, bro, you can make $500 a day and be a mute savant and make $500 a day. Ain't nobody making $500 a day clocking in, but we're still like complaining about it. It's just truly. You're not looking at it as a tool. And I get passionate about it because, number one, it does piss me off. But the second level of me getting passionate is I hate to see guys kind of get stuck in that, because my family's that way. I grew up that way. And it's just by the sheer grace of God that I was able to break that mold and see behind the curtain. And it's like I'm kind of wanting to grab them by the hand and drag them with me like, dude, no, come this way. Life is better over here. For real, just start looking at life like this. Think this way. Buy this. Use it like this. Don't try to be cheap. Like, if you can ever see behind the curtain, your entire life will change. And we've seen a lot of guys be able to do that with the courses, with the equipment, take something like How to Wash. You know, How to Wash has probably made millionaires at this point. It's too expensive. Well, not if you use it the right way. So I come at it from a place of truly, Aaron talks about it as a ministry. It really is that. It's like a guy in the chat earlier said, you want to be rich, but you should also share. Well, that's what we're doing right now. We're sharing with you. I didn't inherit my business. Somebody else a minute ago asked that. Didn't you inherit your business? No, my dad started washing in 85. There was no business. I was doing it on my own in high school because dad had quit fooling with it. Once you see behind the curtain, I know that if me from middle of Alabama with no college degree, with absolutely no investment, with no money, no startup money, no secret angel investor, if I can do it, then anybody can do it. And the limiting thing that's holding most people back is truly just the way that they see success. They see it as the bad guy. They see it as something to run from, and then they wonder why they can't catch it. It's a mind shift change. All the four of us, the other three guys on this call, I've been friends with them for a few years now, and I've watched them. We just constantly keep leveling up. And what we sit here and talk about is, dude, we're stupid. We're dumb. We can't see. The fear I have is that I can't see where the next $2, $3, $5 million opportunity is at. So if you're sitting here arguing with me about $50 hazmat fee, I'm like, don't talk to me about that, bro. You're using up universe juice on hazmat fee. I'm trying to make sense from you using the juice wrong. Use it correctly.
Yep.
You're using the juice wrong. I love that. The other thing is they're afraid of the other side of that. Like with anything, the higher the risk, the higher the return. If you're not willing to take the risk on the $50 hazmat fee, you're not willing to get the $2,000 job that's on the back end of that you would be willing that you would use it. And everything is in proportion to that. Aaron and Cody have talked about how much money they've put into these products before. Huge upfront investment for, they could potentially lose it. But guess what? That return is just as big. Same with me and Mike and Quote IQ. It's all the same, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
Throw it in a ditch.
Well, I got two things. I'm going to address this free American spirit comment here in a second. But anybody out there that says, oh, how to wash is too expensive, Quote IQ, I don't want to spend $29 a month, $1 a day. I don't want to pay the hazmat fee. I don't want to, dynamite degrease is too expensive. I'm going to use Dawn, right? This is the mindset that's going to hold you back. And my business, my pressure washing business, is what has allowed me to get to where I am, right? And by no means is my pressure washing business how I generate the bulk of what I make on a yearly basis. By no means, right? The pressure washing business is unbelievably healthy, and it does great. We've scaled, we've descaled, we've scaled again. It just is what it is. I started the pressure washing business with a home equity line that I took out because I was willing to bet on myself. I was willing to bet that I could take this little shitty business and turn it into something of substance. And I did, right? But had I not said to myself, look, I'm going to take out, and I think it was like 25,000, 20 grand. I can't remember a loan against my house to buy this business because I didn't have a ton of disposable income. I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys. I wouldn't be friends with these guys. And so my point is you have to believe in yourself. You have to trust in yourself. And if you don't, then go punch a clock because it's not cut out for you. But if you've got the drive, if you've got the determination, if you've got the wherewithal to run your own business, right? And not just be an owner operator, right? Anybody can go wash, but you have to be an operator. You have to own the business and run the business like a business. And so if that's you, then you can do this. And we talk a lot about a bunch of different things, but at the end of the day, it's all about believing in yourself, investing in yourself, because if you do those two things, I promise you're going to find success. It's not going to happen overnight. There is no magic bullet, but it will come if you put in the work and you grind. And then where did that comment go? By the way, some people do have light reasons why they can't afford things, medical bills for one. So please keep that in mind. In 2019, I died twice, flatlined a couple times. I was in a coma for over a month. And I racked up close to $2 million worth of bills. And guess what? That didn't stop me. My businesses didn't fail. Nothing like I had systems in place to where things were able to operate, right? And yeah, there was some downtime, but there are always excuses. That's the biggest excuse. Who else can rack up $2 million worth of bills? And that's not including what insurance paid. Okay.
I know you didn't. I know he didn't die.
Yeah, I didn't die.
Like, I guarantee you that he ain't dead. Mike died twice.
Yeah. But anyway, so
Mike's literally dead and making more money. Mike ain't even alive right now.
I'm a zombie.
There's a difference. There's two types of people, right? Go ask your family members why they aren't more successful, right? The answer will probably be it was because of an outside source. It was because the fee Cody charges when he sends me my chemicals, because the skid was too expensive. It's because quote IQ is too expensive. Ask one of us why we're not more successful than we are right now. It's because we didn't get the opportunity sooner. It's because we didn't make the connections. It's like Cody said, we couldn't see the $2-3 million opportunity. So the difference is the person that points at themselves is going to be more successful because I always take accountability. I wish I was further ahead, but I'm not because of myself, not how expensive something was, not because whatever, because I didn't find the right person. I didn't find the right product. I didn't find the right course. I didn't invest the time, the money where it needed to be spent.
Yeah.
So anyway. This was fun, bro. Anytime we do these kind of lives, it's always a good time, man.
Yeah.
So anybody
All
else
right, boys, I got to go buy some crack corn for the ducks and then pick up my daughter from school.
I thought you were going to say crack.
Nah.
All right, you guys take accountability. Y'all go kill it. Until next time, how's hard to get that money, baby.
See y'all.
Peace.